Welcome. We're honored to have you, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your passion for this practice.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Blessings.
Let us start. Probably most of all have heard about the Cathars. And in general, this movement is very popular. But we would like to tell you, first of all, not even to dare to understand who the Cathars were and who the Cathars are from those sources which we have. Open sources and some big why. Because all we know to this moment about the Cathars, almost 99%, is based on the chronicles of the Roman Inquisition, the first and direct enemies of the Cathars. So what we have quite a lot of books, research, but even if there is some truth, if there is the original image of the Cathars, there is a corruption. There is fatal change in what we know. So that's why we are here, and we inherit this tradition, and this is the spiritual tradition. This tradition which inherits through the heart, through the word of the mouth, through the spirit. And this is how the leader of the modern day Cathar movement, John Bogomil, whom you could see on the screen playing music, and it's him. He inherited Cathar tradition from his spiritual mother. Christ was not crucified, at least in that image which is represented by the by the Inquisition, by those who crucified him.
Crucified внешне. Yes.
Yeah, external execution. There is even Muslims, they do not believe that he was crucified. There is several versions about that. One of the versions is that instead of Christ was crucified his most beloved disciple, and the world knows him as Judah, but his spiritual name was Juan Mirt. John, who sheds myrrh, and he adored Christ so much. Later, they said that he betrayed him, but we believe that there was someone else who betrayed Christ, and it was Peter and Paul. Two of those who later organized the institutional church and called it Christianity, but they were the first enemies of Christ in his earthly days. The first enemies, especially Paul, he was the direct enemy of the divine
And
mother.
nowadays we have two main directions or
Streams, yeah.
branches. Yes, branch of Pete. Yes.
Peter and Paul.
Yes, and Paul. Yes, and branch of John.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah.
There are a lot of directions of Christianity, yes, but for spiritual vision, only two.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this we may divide this not even externally, because among we have a lot of friends among Orthodox, among Catholics, among Protestants, everywhere. But this separation happens in the heart of the people, and we may assure you that most of the Christians they believe in true Christ, but they are misguided, we would say. So from Nightingale Mountain started the authentic branch of Christianity, of Catharism, of Bogomils, of Knights Templars. Who were there? First of all, Mary. We believe that the Divine Mother, the Mother of God, she was the one whom Christ dedicated his church, and we even can find evidence in Gospel, although we do not lean upon that, understanding that it has been rewritten so many times.
But Divine Mother,
Yeah.
yes, was
Was
first patron,
the patriarch,
yes,
the matriarch
of authentic church,
Yeah.
church of love. Yes.
And who were together with her? John, not the theologian, no. He was the beloved, the most beloved son. Mary Magdalene, the one, she also was one of the most adored disciples of Christ. And what we know about Mary Magdalene, we have a beautiful book, The New Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
And Cathars considered that Mary Magdalene, their mother, their spiritual and true mother.
Yeah.
She was devoted from Christ, devoted to secret of grave. Yes. What is secret of grave? The firstly, Cathars told about divine essence. Divine essence. We people should accept a lot of divine essence, which was lost. Yes. In modeling, what is
Adaptive remodeling.
adaptive remodeling? Yes. And mystery of grave. Yes. When divine potential, divine essence return.
Yeah.
Return to humanity.
Is being revived. And what Mary Magdalene, in this book, which we have, our perception of Mary Magdalene is different to a mainstream vision of her. Religious institutions depict her as a whore whom Christ he expelled demons from her and so on, so that she was a sinner. It's rubbish. It's all lies. There is a second very popular version that she was an earthly bride of Christ and that they had children, and this their relationships gave birth to new dynasties. But Catharism says that Mary Magdalene conceived from Christ immaculately, the same way as Mary, the Mother of God, conceived Christ. And how did she make that? From the mystery of the Holy Grail, from the utmost suffering when her beloved one, and we believe that Mary Magdalene, she belonged to a noble family. She was one of the princesses of families of Parthia. I'll return to that a bit later. And she was preparing herself, all her life she was preparing herself for this mission. She knew that she has come for this special mission, and she was the most beautiful soul of those times. And she conceived immaculately, and she gave birth to Joseph the Magnificent, their child, who was the first keeper of the chalice of the Holy Grail. And later from him we had the royal dynasty, the authentic royal dynasties of Europe and of all the world.
And Cathars inherited from Mary Magdalene one mystery of Grail. Yes, Grail should chalice of Grail should adhere us to Father of pure love, adhere us to God, unite us to Spirit of God. Yes, and should prepare humanity for divine marriage. Yes, like the most purpose of humanity in the earth.
This love, most of the souls experience this love at the moment when we pass away from this earth. At that very moment, when the person takes its last breath, Divine Mother comes in her highest hypostasis of Minne. Minne. This is the ancient name for this heavenly love. The love which every soul was striving for, was searching for all the life. And just in everything, in human love, she was just trying to find it, but could not. And it experienced as the greatest consolation, every soul receives this touch of love. This is the explanation of why there was so much tortures and persecution, because true Cathars, true Christians, under different names. We should overcome this perception which was given to us, as we said, that Cathars is medieval movement. No, it has its roots thousands of years ago, and the origin of the Cathar spirituality is Atlantis and Hyperborea. Thousands of years ago, at the times when Earth, when the divine civilization of kindness, of pure love was on the earth, when there were no evil on the earth, and even if there was a bit of evil, people, actually gods who lived on the earth at those times, they knew that it is evil, and it took its place. Not like in our days, when evil pretends to be good, when evil manifests as goodness, and they use evil for power and so on. But it's our civilization which is coming to an end, to say. So, Christ and true prophets, Cathars, Knights Templars, they brought the breath, the atmosphere of Atlantis back to the earth. And during even our civilization, which according to ancient calendars, our civilization is 84th, and there have been different civilizations on the earth. 15 absolutely kind civilizations like Atlantis, Hyperborea, Arcadia. There have been 15 evil civilizations where evil prevailed and evil was victorious for some period of time. And other 54 civilizations were mixed, like our current civilization, where there is a battle between goodness and evil. And now it's the decisive moment, because this civilization comes to an end, according to many calendars. And this is the decisive moment which civilization will come. And the mission of John Bogomil, as the Divine Mother revealed to him, is to give rise to the new divine civilization of goodness. And Catharism, the teaching of Catharism, is why is it so important? Because it's the best way. It's Cathars. They possess the best keys, ways to bring this new civilization back to the earth. If we briefly speak about spiritual practice of the Cathars, actually, Father John, during our Congress in Spain, we actually came to here
just
to
from
the United States,
Congress.
from Spain,
Yes.
from our annual Congress. It was 35th Congress.
To you, to your heart.
Yeah, to share grace and bliss of this Catholic Congress, and we have these congresses every year in Spain. As you may see, one of the spiritual.
Victory.
Yeah, victory.
Oh, that's lovely. Where was that?
It was in Spain. In Spain, Catalonia. Catalonia. Yeah. What's the main idea? It's the ancient practice of the Cathars, which is called, you may call it celebration, but it's more like rejoicing. And this is the summit of the spiritual path. Or every hour spiritual service practice, we finish or we start with rejoicing. It's the ecstasy of the spirit and the ecstasy of all your being. This is the like you accumulate the fullness of your spiritual practice to explode, that your heart becomes like the universe. And this is what we do. This is you could see that it wasn't artificial joy, but it's joy which comes from purity. If your heart is pure, then you can rejoice with no limits. Just it's pure joy.